Imagine this guy is humiliated all the time, but his face disappears, and now he can get revenge on everyone who mocked him. That's the movie Bruiser, so come with me, and let's dive into the story. The film begins by showing a man waking up on another ordinary day, getting ready for another day of work. He's listening to the radio when a guy starts saying his life is really bad because his father passed away, leaving a house taken by the bank. The guy commits suicide live on air. Henry starts imagining himself in the guy's shoes, pretending to be deceased. The problem is that the guy actually did it, and Henry tries to tell his wife, but she doesn't want to hear about it, thinking it's just another crazy story. Henry goes to have coffee, and the dog turns on the saw, seeking attention. It becomes evident that his wife doesn't care much about him. He walks to work, and his best friend shows up with a new car, having bought a top-of-the-line vehicle, despite paying a fortune. He claims it's worth it because he's attracting many women. They stop at the train station, a better way to get to work. Henry mentions investing in the stock market, but things aren't going well. He needs money to finish renovating the house, but Janine complains that he can't do anything right. She manages their finances, and when he tries to board the train, a woman cuts in front of him. In anger, he imagines pushing her onto the train tracks, but it's just his imagination, as he lacks the courage to do it. At work, he tries to share the incident on the radio, but people ignore him. In a meeting at the marketing company, they're choosing random women on the street for a magazine cover. Miles, the boss, is rude and insults everyone. Rose is selected as the best photographer, but she declines, saying she's busy with other projects. Miles demands courage from the team and insists they choose a cover model from the 10 candidates. Henry suggests a good idea, but Miles ignores and humiliates him in front of everyone. After the meeting, Henry tries to talk to Rose because staying in that job was tough, but he needed the money. Miles calls him and says he needs to put in more effort. He reminds Henry not to forget the weekend party at his mansion, where there would be a big barbecue. Miles asks if Henry's wife will attend. When Henry reaches his office, he receives a call from the bank manager, informing him that his platinum card was declined due to insufficient funds. Henry is puzzled, because he was making investments. After work, he goes out with his friend to play, and Henry expresses how difficult his life is. Everything he tries seems to go wrong, and he's unsure what to do. His friend advises him not to dwell on it, or he'll end up like the guy on the radio. The next day is the big barbecue, and Miles constantly humiliates the staff since he's the boss, and no one dares to oppose him. Rose starts making masks with people's faces, and Henry comments that she's very good at it. She made one with his face mold and tells him to keep it. However, life is not easy, as Miles arrives at the bar, stares at Janine, and they exchange meaningful glances. Later, Miles starts getting close to her, and Henry watches from afar, realizing she's involved with someone else, but he doesn't know it's the boss. Back home, Henry confronts Janine about what he saw. She calls him weak for not doing anything and accuses him of being useless throughout their relationship. She thought being with him would help her climb in life easily, but she realizes he's just a loser who does nothing while she plays around. She leaves him at home, and as she enters the garage, he imagines killing her with an axe. However, it's just his imagination, and she drives away, saying she would sleep elsewhere, leaving him looking helpless. The next day, Henry wakes up as if nothing happened. He goes about his routine, but when he looks in the mirror, he sees a white mask on his face. He doesn't know who put it there, and if his life was already bad, it seems it can get worse. His maid arrives and starts taking things from the house, speaking in Spanish to avoid him understanding. She takes money from his wallet, and when Henry confronts her, he realizes he's speaking Spanish too. He gets angry, gives her a hit, and discovers it was true this time. He cleans up to leave no traces, and Janine arrives home in the morning, complaining that the dog was left outside. He tries to hide in a corner, but the dog shows up and starts barking. The dog turns on the saw, but Janine doesn't check and unplugs it. Assuming there's no one home, she starts making plans to meet her lover, expecting even more excitement today. Henry uses a piece of steak to lure the dog to his side. Janine leaves, and he follows, curious about what's happening. She's heading to his workplace, which is strange. Here comes the plot twist that only a blind person wouldn't see. She meets Miles, and they start preparing for some fun in the meeting room. When they're about to start their game, Rose appears and takes a photo because she and Miles are married. Miles runs after Rose to prevent her from revealing those photos. Henry confronts Janine, empowered now, asking why she's doing this to him. She tries to escape, but it doesn't go well. Miles is chasing Rose when Janine is thrown out of the window. Henry, unaware of what happened, leaves. An employee, who was hiding, witnessed everything and assures Henry that he won't tell anyone. Henry believes him and departs. When the police arrive, Miles tries to explain, and everyone thinks Rose did it out of revenge for discovering the affair. Back home, Henry starts arranging the maid's body, realizing he needs to protect himself. He grabs a gun. Suddenly, the police knock on his door to inform him about what happened to his wife. Until then, he wasn't a suspect. The police leave, and he listens to the answering machine. His friend warns that if the money isn't in Janine's account, he's in trouble. Checking her monthly report from the manager, he sees it's empty. She spent everything. In anger, he destroys everything and prepares himself to appear normal despite the mask on his face. Rose is at home, and Henry calls to warn her about the police looking for her, thinking she's the culprit. The police officer checks her house, asking if anything suspicious is going on. They pretend everything is normal, but at the police station, they realize something was happening. The security cameras recorded a person wearing a mask, but they can't determine if it's a man or a woman. Henry starts preparing for the next reckoning. He finds his best friend playing alone and confronts him. They've been friends for a long time, and Henry can't believe he was stealing from him. He had advised investing in certain places, but the money in some documents disappeared. That's how his friend managed to buy a new car. Henry chases him, and despite attempts to seek help, his friend is caught. Henry decides it's too late to return the money. James tries to shoot to escape but gets shot in the chest. Henry throws him and his new car into the harbor. This guy is escalating to the top of the misfortune scale. The employee he spared is taken to the police for interrogation to ensure he won't reveal anything. Back home, Henry is enjoying the bathtub with the magazine model. He expresses a desire to escape, but the woman only wants to feature in the magazine. Since Henry didn't take any action, he goes to Rose's house and asks if she knew anything. Rose admits she knew Miles was involved with Janine, but didn't say anything to avoid him losing his job and making things worse. Henry is angry but refrains from doing anything, as he considered her a decent person. He calls the radio station he always listens to in the morning and reports that a car was thrown into the harbor. Miles is at a costume party, the perfect opportunity for Henry to enact his revenge. While Miles is surrounded by several women, Henry puts on a mask to blend in with the party. The problem is that the police are already after him. He uses Rose as a shield to escape, determined to put an end to Miles. Henry manages to take Miles to a hidden place, making it clear that it's time for him to pay for everything he's done. Miles is confused, not recognizing Henry yet. Henry hangs him in front of everyone to humiliate him and starts throwing lasers that can burn anything. In the process, he achieves his revenge, and when he realizes it, his face returns to normal. The police are still after him, and just as he's about to be caught, Rose puts on the mask and pretends to be him. Now, the police don't know who the real culprit is, and they take advantage of the crowd to escape. Henry's record is now clean, as there's no way it could be him. On the other side of the city, another company has a boss who enjoys humiliating employees, hinting that the story might start again. And that concludes the movie Bruiser. Working without a boss might be ideal, but if you enjoyed this story, leave a like and subscribe. It's almost as easy as closing your eyes. Now, I'm out. Thanks to everyone, and see you.